Prince Andrew's dodgy friends dragged into Royal Lodge Row as disgraced Duke faces major problem. Prince Andrew has dodgy friends who could be funding his security at Royal Lodge, it has been claimed. The Duke of York has holed up inside the Windsor mansion after his brother King Charles tried to oust him from the property. The monarch took away Andrew's security detail, gambling that the prohibitive costs of replacing it would persuade his brother to vacate Royal Lodge for something smaller. However, it backfired and Andrew has been able to secure his own security. Where the money is coming from remains a mystery, although sources close to King Charles have denied he is funding it privately. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams has now said we simply don't know how much money Andrew has, as he speculated on where it might be coming from. Hello viewers, please remember to subscribe and click on the notifications bell icon, so you will be notified whenever we upload new cookies about the British royal family. He told GB News, it was reported 2 years ago that Sarah Ferguson, his devoted ex-wife who lives with him in Royal Lodge, had bought a property in Mayfair for some £2 million. It showed that they had some money, and also there was a chateau, a place in Verbier that apparently he sold for £19 million. There have been reports that there have been donors. Now, we know that Andrew has had some very horrifyingly dodgy friends in the past. No one would dispute that. However, nobody knows exactly where he's getting the money to stay, and we don't know how much money he's got. Andrew was infamously friends with pedophile banker Jeffrey Epstein, who killed himself in 2019 while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. The Duke of York settled out of court with accuser Virginia Giuffre, who claims she had sex with him 3 times after being trafficked by Epstein. Despite winning the so-called Siege of Royal Lodge, Andrew still faced major issues, according to Fitzwilliams. Despite being worth £30 million, Royal Lodge has fallen badly into disrepair since Andrew signed a 75-year lease in 2003. He said, "It's abundantly clear that it would be very difficult for him to keep up the property, which is huge, of course, in the style that the lease demands." However, Fitzwilliams believes the king is unlikely to reignite the row after a traumatic 2024 that has seen major health scared for the king, queen and Princess of Wales. He said, "It really is not in the interests of the king to have further problems with Andrew and Sarah Ferguson." Prince Andrew's Royal Lodge saga takes new twist as Bill's pair could be shock figure. The Duke of York and King Charles have been embroiled in a months-long feud about him occupying Royal Lodge, but one expert suggests that there is more than meets the eye with the situation. The saga surrounding Prince Andrew and Royal Lodge has taken a new twist as reports have claimed that the mystery benefactor paying his bills could be someone close to his heart. It has been claimed that King Charles has demanded his brother downgrade and move into Frogmore Cottage. He was said to have cut off the Duke of York from the royal purse in a bid to starve him out of the lavish property in the grounds of Windsor Castle. Upkeep of the property is reported to cost about £400,000 to repair, renew, uphold and where necessary rebuild it. Last month, it was reported that King Charles had stopped paying Andrew's personal allowance of more than £1 million a year as well as his £3 million security bill. But Andrew was set to dig deep and pay for these bills himself, as well as maintenance of Royal Lodge which he was given occupancy of by the late Queen Elizabeth. Mystery surrounded how he was paying for this since he was no longer a working royal, with some of his wealthy friends pegged as potentially loaning him money. But the Daily Mail reports that it could in fact be a double bluff by the monarch and that he himself is secretly funding Andrew's lifestyle out of his own personal pocket. Charlotte Griffiths claimed that rumors surrounding the battle for Royal Lodge suggested that Charles had been gentler with his brother than reports suggested. She wrote, "Wealthy names from the Middle East to the Russian steppes have been in the frame. But now I can reveal there are some in aristocratic circles who believe the prince's secret patron is someone far closer to home." In fact, he may own a rather grand property right next door Windsor Castle. They suspect the eviction threat is an elaborate double bluff by the king. I have heard from multiple sources that, far from cutting Andrew off, Charles has personally cleared his errant brother's bills for his upkeep and promised his Royal Lodge woes are taken care of, enabling him to stay there for the foreseeable future. She quoted a source who told her that he, Andrew, just doesn't have that many friends anymore. He barely goes out. He's not that welcome anywhere. So it's got to be family, and the obvious person is the king. I mean, why would anybody who's not family want to give him money when they're not going to get anything out of it except a lot of flack? It was suggested that King Charles was using his own private funding for this endeavor and not from the public purse. Ms. Griffiths outlined two different reasons for this generosity: keeping his brother on side and also to ensure that Royal Lodge doesn't crumble due to lack of maintenance. She added, if my sources are to be believed, and Charles has taken personal financial responsibility for these lesser sums, it would be a double bluff worthy of a Le Carre novel. We may never know the truth, but royal watchers will shortly be able to gauge relations between the brothers. On Christmas Day there will be the traditional walk on the Norfolk estate. If Andrew is present at the invitation of the king, we can assume that blue blood, of course, is proving thicker than water. Prince Andrew's daughters come up with plan to keep their father's spirits high. Prince Andrew's daughters have come up with an agreement in a bid to keep their disgraced father's spirits high. Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie have decided to take turns taking their children to spend time with the Duke of York in order to help combat their father's feelings of loneliness, a source has claimed. 5 years after his disastrous Newsnight interview marked the end of his public duties, Prince Andrew has established a new and isolated routine at Royal Lodge, his 30-bedroom residence on the Windsor estate. The Duke of York's once busy schedule of engagements and global travel has been replaced by a quieter life, focused on family time. His sprawling Grade II listed property, which he continues to share with his former wife Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, has become a sanctuary for precious moments with his daughters and grandchildren. Despite King Charles's demands for him to downsize to Frogmore Cottage, Andrew has secured funding for his own security detail at Royal Lodge, although the source of the finance is unknown. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and drop comments. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything.